Hi there, this is Sasha Sabbath of EntrepreneurSoulCoach.com, and we are into our tip number 4 of the Soul Aligned Keep Going Success Tip Series. Today's tip is called The Anatomy of Soul Purpose Guided Resilience. And what I'm going to be giving you is quite a checklist. I'll even show it to you here. I think you can see it. I'm going to be including a checklist with a URL link so that you can have something to print out as we are going through the various components that I feel help a person go from stuck, stopped, overwhelmed, overloaded, challenged deeply, maybe really hurting on some level, emotionally and or physically, and they need the resilience to keep going, whatever kind of goal, whatever kind of objective. And I personally came up with this because a client of mine made the suggestion that she really wanted something that was going to bring greater juice, so to speak, to her ability to be resilient. And that immediately got me thinking about the things that I'm facing. And I think that quite a few people are facing at this very time of what's going on in our country and in the world with regards to the pandemic of the COVID virus and a lot of the social anguish and unrest, along with other matters. And so really, what's required is resilience, yes. However, to have soul purpose guided resilience brings a whole other level of tenacity and stamina and also effectiveness in terms of the strategies that you choose. So what we're going to do tonight is to discuss the anatomy of soul purpose guided, excuse me, soul purpose guided, it is resilience. That really is the best word. Soul purpose guided resilience so that you can keep true to yourself and really keep going in a way that feeds your soul and thereby makes you have that much more of an impact of value to your community as a contributor. And so those of you who are new to me, my name, as I said, is Sasha Sabbath, and business owners and community contributors hire me to help heal their most painful, challenging blocks at the very root cause. And after working with me, they make more money and they stop the procrastination, they stop the overwhelm to then go forward and accomplish those goals faster, with less stress and more fun. That's what people hire me to do as a psychic intuitive and as a healer and as a soul purpose guide. And so with this particular list that I'm going to give you, it gives you a chance to do two things. Number one, for you to reflect upon past challenges and tough situations that might have really knocked you off your game, and what it took for you to get yourself up and keep going. And that's resilience. That rebounding is resilience. To look at past events, and then by using this checklist that I'm going to identify for you, you can look forward to what's coming up that you're aware of and see how you can prep yourself now so that the resilience is easier for you to harness and tap into. So let's begin. I'm actually going to read from this list. Oh, there goes my glasses. To read from this list. And the purpose of reading from this list is for you to have an organized array of different options, because different challenges and circumstances that are challenging and hard and harrowing sometimes for a person, for you, might require some of these components, but not others. And so this is kind of like your build your own unique soul purpose guided toolkit of components that are sure to activate your resilience and get you out there doing what your soul wants you to do. That's pragmatic and also is true to why you are here in this lifetime. So here we go, and you certainly can take notes. This is a list of components for soul purpose guided resilience. And it starts off with a main foundation belief. And you may know this, that belief drives moods, actions, decisions, choices, behaviors. When you look to change something, whether to improve it or to maximize on something that's already working, go to the belief that's driving it. And if you need to change your belief, like going from a limited, disempowering belief to a positive, empowering belief, you will find that your emotions and your behaviors, your moods and your accomplishments, and how you feel on a day-to-day quality of life will greatly improve. So the first foundation belief that is the top component is that of I will prevail. Just feel that for a minute. Think of some challenges. Think of how you were resilient. And think about you saying to yourself, I will prevail. So that's the top component, and now we're going to go down a list of 14. Each of these components are standalone components, and they are also partnering components with others on the list. Number one, take small steps. I'm just going to go through the list first, and then I'll go back and I'll talk a little bit about each one. Number two, compassion for yourself. Number three, interpretation and perception. Again, these are components with which you can harness and activate your soul purpose guided resilience. And so that one, number three, is interpretation and perception. Number four, attitude. And the attitude is, and you're going to think I'm a little like off my rocker on this, but trust me, listen, the attitude to welcome challenges and stress. I'm sorry, but you'll see when I get back. To welcome challenges and stress. Number five, enjoy and bask in your accomplishments. Number six, belief in yourself. Number seven, belief, really having belief in your objectives and your focus. Number eight, belief in your deservability. Number nine, your sense of your soul purpose in this lifetime. Number 10, your sense of mission in this lifetime. 11, your sense of your values. The values, your core values, your primary values. Number 12, your sense of your passions. Number 13, the lessons learned. And number 14, next steps to move forward. These are components. So now let's talk about each one and how they actually do activate a resilience in you. Let's have you think for a moment of a recent time where you were very challenged, and it may have been very hard for you, whether it was physical, psychological, emotional, conceptual, whatever. And now let's go through these particular components and notice how you feel just by listening to them. That has you start to feel like, okay, I'm going to get up and I'm going to make this happen. Okay, I'm going to get up. I'm going to brush off the dust, brush off the mud, brush off the wounds if it was really bad, and I am going to keep going with my resilience. So again, the first one is this foundation belief, I will prevail. How do you feel when you think of that situation and you remind yourself, I will prevail, I will prevail? The next is taking small steps. So here you are, you're in a situation, you're knocked down, you're tired, you're disillusioned, you are disappointed, and thinking of, okay, what's a small step I can take to move forward? That will activate the beginnings of resilience. Next is compassion for yourself. If you are compassionate with yourself, as opposed to berating yourself, as opposed to judging yourself very harshly, then that too is going to give you energy to start getting creative again, start looking at your options, and start moving forward in some way, in baby steps. Number 3, your interpretation and perception. What this means is, as you are looking and feeling the weight of your challenge, of your issue, if you start looking at things and interpret them and perceive them from different angles, from different layers of possibility, that also frees up energy. That also can build a sense of encouragement to keep going. The attitude, number 4, of welcoming challenge and stress. Well, as crazy as that may sound, what this really is saying is that there's a part of you that is ready to grow. There's a part of you that is ready to be bigger than you currently are in terms of your capacity, in terms of your skills, in terms of you using your talents. So when you welcome challenge and you welcome stress, it normalizes the fact that it's expansion, and expansion can be very uncomfortable, as opposed to just dropping into a state of resistance, which is going to drain you, which is going to create inner conflict and contraction, and it stops your energy flow, or it slows it down. The next, number 5, is enjoy and bask in your accomplishments. I'm sure you've heard this before from other people, that when you're trying to do something, when you're really wanting to go outside your comfort zone, it might be frightening, it might have all kinds of negative connotations or negative expectations, depending upon your negative beliefs. However, when you think about the other kinds of successes you've had, the other kinds of hurdles that you successfully surmounted, that's what I mean by basking in your accomplishments and in enjoying what you went through, because look at what you created for the better. The next, number 6, is belief in yourself. Now, this may sound superficial, however, it really isn't. When you have a belief in yourself, despite what others may have said to you, despite what you do when you compare yourself to others, if you put all that aside and you go back up to that first attitude, belief of I will prevail, and you energize your belief in yourself, what you're saying is, I can do this. And whatever it is I do, it's better that I do that than nothing, you know? So belief in yourself to do the best you can, and the best you can sometimes is absolutely good enough, because the option that is contrary is to do nothing, and that may be really unacceptable to you. The next one, number 7, is belief in your objectives and focus. What that means is that you really believe in the worth and the value of what you're focusing on, despite what others might think, despite it seeming to be either redundant or too oddball. Putting all that aside and just looking at valuing the fact that you came up with this, the fact that your heart is into it. That's what I mean by belief in your objectives and focus. And these are all shots in the arm, like mega vitamins, to get your resilience going, to get the rebound going. The next, number 8, is belief in your deservability. it's another way of saying a few of the other things that were previously mentioned. To be deserving means that you deserve to win. You deserve to allow yourself the learning process. You deserve to go for something that's meaningful to you, regardless of what others might think. A deservability for you to honor your creativity and your inspiration. That's what that one means. Number 9, your sense of soul purpose. Now, this is very formidable because I think that you probably, since you found me and since you're listening to this, you probably have a very strong grasp of how important a sense of purpose is. Because just think about the contrast. Think about situations that you may have had in the past where you did not have a sense of purpose, and the toll that that took on effectiveness, on economy, meaning being economical with your energies, your thoughts, trial and error. So when you have a sense of purpose and you have an understanding of what you're here to do in this lifetime, and you take inventory of your skills and your talents, there is definitely a fire that kicks in, which is absolutely the fabric of resilience. The next, number 10, is your sense of mission. Mission, when you think about what is important to you, what drives you, what motivates you, even if you're not feeling well, even if the stakes are high, even if there's a lot of challenge, even if it's hard, but you are in the game, that you are determined to fulfill your mission. This is also like rocket fuel, especially paired with your sense of soul purpose. Resilience is a given. The next, number 11, is your sense of values. The way that I like to bring this forward is just think about what happens when your values are violated. The house inside your soul starts to crumble because you are betraying yourself. You are ignoring the very platform of who and what you are. And so when you grasp and you grab onto your values, that automatically gives you a sense of direction, of purpose to fuel your mission, because the values that you honor and the values that you choose to activate bring out a deep, deep, deep richness that lives within you, because again, it is the core of who you are. The next one is number 12, your sense of passions. That sort of speaks for itself. When you're passionate about something similar to purpose and mission, you're unstoppable. I don't think I need to say anything more than that. Think about the things that you're passionate about. Think about the things that may have come up as obstacles and how you handled those obstacles, because you were not going to let down on your passions. This is, again, all part of the fuel, the food, the fuel, the fire to keep a resilient ember burning inside of you. The next, number 13, is lessons learned. Now, this is more of an intellectual and mental approach. Sometimes when we're down and we're really exhausted, or there's a hopelessness, a helplessness, an overwhelm, then thinking about the lessons that you're learning in the situation all of a sudden gives you a new hope. It gives you a new drive. It gives you a new layer of courage and stamina, because what you're doing is you're realizing that you're growing, and that you're realizing that there is a higher purpose to this experience that you're facing, and that you are going to come out of it wiser, more skilled, maybe with more character, maybe with more accomplishment. And ultimately, what's underlying all of that is that you become more integrated. You start to activate within you parts of yourself that have learned. And when you learn, you take that knowledge, you take that wisdom, you take those learnings out into your next experiences. And that too will have a mobilizing, catalyzing effect of resilience. And then finally, next steps forward. And what that means is similar to number one, taking small steps. This gives you a place to start. This gives you a way to pull yourself out of the rut, crowbar yourself out of the downward spiral, get yourself out of the rabbit hole, get yourself out of the delta triangle abyss of darkness of like, what do I do? Or how do I deal with this? When you ask yourself, what is my next step forward? If you talk to your intuition, if you talk to your spirit guides, if you talk to your soul, if you talk to your spiritual mentors, and I say spiritual because it's coming from that higher realm that lives within you, so it's beyond the mind. When you are asking yourself, what is my next step forward? It's not as overwhelming. It's not as calamitous. There is a breath that you can take, and then you can move forward. So that is my list of components of soul purpose guided resilience. How did you like that? My suggestion is that you listen to this several times and think of the challenges that are at hand for you or that are coming up, and see if going through this list and becoming familiar with them gives you a sense of build your own resilience toolkit so that you can handle the situations better. Now, here is my invitation for you. If you are noticing that you are procrastinating, that you are overwhelmed, that you are missing opportunities, that you're not really making the most of who you are, if you're not listening to your intuition, if you are overlooking aspects of yourself that you know are important parts of who you are, then let's have a conversation. I would like to invite you into my 30-minute complimentary procrastination and elimination freedom elimination session. So what we're talking about and what you're going to come away with is an understanding of what's really going on that's stopping you, slowing you down. And I will give you a type of action plan so that you can move forward. You will feel more motivated and inspired. And so if that's something that you'd like to do, I have some limited slots for this month of August because we're almost at the end of August, and I have opened up 8 slots for these 30-minute conversations. They're on the phone, they're private, and they're deep. And you're worth it. And so if this is something that you feel ready for, like, you know, the fall is coming, things are very wild right now in the country and in the world, and you want to harness the best of who you are, then you're the right person to reach out to me. And just email me at info@entrepreneursoulcoach.com. So I'll put that in the chat here. I'll put it in the notes. info@entrepreneursoulcoach.com, and then put in the subject line freedom session, and we'll get back to you within 24 to 48 hours. I really hope that you listen from your heart to these details and see yourself in a whole other light of what's possible for you. And on that note, I send you my love. Bye for now. There we go.